You said there was a conversation that my colleagues on Good Morning Football had about which of the final 8 coaches would have the most legacy-altering of their resume with a win in the Super Bowl this year.
Great. Yeah, which coach legacy changes the most?
Okay.
For the Super Bowl
It's
win.
a fascinating conversation.
I really enjoyed it.
And so let's go one by one. Hoskins, you dealer's choice. Our coordinating producer. We're going to start with the Saturday game, Jaguars and Chiefs. So would a second Super Bowl win for Andy Reid alter his legacy? I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, regardless of what happens the rest of his career.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, and that's fine, but that takes you now from 1
to 2.
And maybe a first ballot, maybe not. Discussion, I'm sure. But now you're guaranteed first ballot, and you're talked among the all-time greats.
Okay. So you got that.
As opposed to just a guy who had a run with Philly, never got over the top. Did he get lucky because he got Patrick Mahomes?
Come on.
And now you're the guy, this is your offense, you lose Tyreek Hill, and now you go back to the Super Bowl and win?
Let me answer your higher register question. Did he get lucky getting Patrick Mahomes? Everybody thought when they were trading up was for Deshaun Watson. And then we were all sitting there in Philadelphia going, oh, Mahomes, huh? They must see something in this kid. That a lot of the evaluators were talking about his upside, but not over Watson. So they chose him. They chose him out of a lot of options, and I'm sure they thanked the Bears for taking Trubisky off the board first. But so all right, I think yes, of course, 2 is better than 1, and it would be amazing that he wins this one, and it would be remarkable for him. But I don't know if he's going to be the most legacy-altering of them all.
I'm just saying, it does change it. It puts him on a different tier.
Let's just. Interestingly enough, let me just do this. There's only. Let me get this right. There's only 3 coaches this weekend for whom we would be talking about a second one, and one of them happens to be across the field from Reid, and we all know he's an Andy Reid guy. Doug Peterson. So here's Doug Peterson. Now, I would proffer to say this. Of the 2 coaches on this field for whom this would be a legacy-altering run, it would be Peterson over Reid. I mean, you could basically say that. I mean, Doug Peterson to win his second one. We're not talking about Doug Peterson as a Hall of Fame head coach right now. 2, where he wins the first one ever in Philadelphia, something Reid couldn't do, and then does it for Jacksonville, takes over a team that picks first overall for a second straight year and turns Trevor Lawrence into a Super Bowl quarterback on the spot, certainly after the kid threw 4 interceptions in his first half of playoff play. That would be wild.
So when I brought this up to you,
say the least,
Peterson was my pick simply because of that fact. You took the Eagles, who had never won a Super Bowl, who, as a Cowboys fan and the rest of the East, we were kind of happy to hold that over their heads no matter what. He wins an Super Bowl with the Eagles, gets a statue. He wins a Super Bowl with the Jacksonville Jaguars? So you legitimately are speaking about this guy in just revered terms.
Suddenly he's Brian Billick, he's John Gruden, and now he's Tom Coughlin. Now he's talked about in that other realm now.
Well, the other realm would also be winning one with 2 different teams.
Which I don't think anyone's ever done.
2 different teams.
I don't think anyone's ever done.
2 franchises who had never won a Super Bowl
All right,
before.
so let's place this aside for the moment. Or do we want to do it like tournament style, like Peterson advances?
Peterson advances.
I think
really
Peterson
funny.
advances.
I personally, I don't think
this bracket.
Any way that we do this, he's not going to be the winner.
Hold on a second, because let's talk about the third coach that's coaching this weekend who's already won one. If Mike McCarthy wins, if Mike McCarthy takes the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, and he becomes the first coach to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams, and he takes the Cowboys to a spot that everybody not named Johnson, Landry, or Switzer has done, okay? And he does this after everybody's been talking about him the way that that they have, that he's got a street named after him in Green Bay. Not just two franchises that he would take to a Super Bowl, two of the most
legendary,
vaunted franchises.
I don't know if I can live in a world where Mike McCarthy is a Hall of Famer.
Come on, man. You go from toll taker to Super Bowl winning head coach for the Packers and Cowboys?
Yeah.
Like you win for either side of the Ice Bowl?
You're in.
I mean,
that's a lock.
So, okay, and then you've got Kyle Shanahan. If he takes the 49ers to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy as his quarterback, come on now. Like, what would that mean for him? I don't know, again, if it would mean so much. Any first-timer, you could throw him in the mix and Daboll and Sirianni in the mix, that they would have a Super Bowl ring on their finger. Ask McVay how it changes things, right? Ask any guy who's got a ring on his finger. Okay? John Harbaugh. We're talking about Jim wants one, John's got one.
This is a father-son situation now with Super Bowl rings.
Correct. His dad had two, he's got one. His dad got one with a McCaffrey, two with a McCaffrey, he's got one with a McCaffrey. I mean,
it would erase a lot of the 28-3 stuff. Because he was the OC for Atlanta, obviously.
Daboll and Sirianni to take for Daboll to do this with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley in his first year as head coach, to do that, and Sirianni to go ahead and take the Eagles to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts in a season where a lot of folks thought, yeah, the Eagles can win the division, but the whole damn shooting match? What about Sean McDermott to be the guy who finally took the Buffalo Bills to the mountaintop and put a parade in Western New York? And I mean, you want to talk about lit, what a parade would be like. I mean, that figuratively, and places would be, there would be fires on fires and stuff like that.
Hoskins just said something that's kind of disrespectful, that he would pass Marv Levy in Hoskins' book. I don't know about that.
I don't know. Hoskins is the diehard Bills fan.
I'm not
So it's not like
him.
he's just jumping on a bandwagon here. I mean, that's legit.
Also, Sean McDermott, the only quote unquote defensive coach among the final 8.
That's true. To be the first Buffalo Bills head coach to win a Super Bowl, and then of course you got the Bengals. You've got the Bengals.
The Bengals.
For them to finally break through and bring a championship. So you've got. I understand that you've got an opportunity to win your first, and that would change your legacy. Obviously, you've got a ring on your finger, and you'd be able to stare at it the rest of your days, and you've got a championship team, and you've completed it. But it would be hard. I mean, at this point in time, I'd have to settle on the two coaches whose legacies would be altered the most. Is Mike McCarthy and Doug Peterson.
I completely agree.
And then the question if I had to say with Kyle Shanahan right there. Shanahan goes in, along with Bill Walsh and George Seifert to win a Super Bowl ring for the San Francisco 49ers and finally bring one back there.
Right there.
Right. So Freddie DiBartolo's nephew. That is impressive. And certainly to do it with Purdy, to do it with the last pick in the draft and 3 different quarterbacks on the season, that would be a story, obviously, and it would be an amazing legacy story with his father. You want to talk about legacies, obviously family and tradition.
But football's family.
And Doug Peterson, though, to take the Jaguars to the Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence, but I have to when it all comes down to it.
It's Mike McCarthy.
It's Mike McCarthy, right?
Yeah. Because he kind of goes from, we all poke a lot of fun at this guy. You know what I mean? Every year now with Dallas, is he coaching for his job? Suddenly now he wins a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame.
You'd have to put him there, right?
Without question.
Yeah, right?
First guy to win a Super Bowl with 2 teams, and not just any 2 teams.
Green Bay and Dallas.
The 2 of the most iconic teams in the history of the National Football League. Done. First ballot. It's over.
And also with Mike McCarthy, and I'm noticing this as the season goes on. Anytime something goes bad for Dallas, it's all fingers are pointed at Mike McCarthy.
Yeah,
right?
And it goes well.
His job's in trouble. Blah blah blah. Like, think about Mike McDaniel, what he did this weekend on the not knowing it was fourth down. Mike McDaniel, by the way, got off easy in my opinion because no one's talking about that. My Lord, imagine if that had been Mike McCarthy,
Forget it.
who did not know it was fourth down in a playoff game.
Or he was told by his staff it was fourth down and didn't have a play ready. He was told by his staff, he said it was first down, and then when it was told it was fourth down, didn't have a play at his. But again, that's his first rodeo and what have you.
I'm just saying with McCarthy.
I get it.
And I would hope. And there's a saying that you would hope the apology is as loud and as public as the disrespect was.
Yeah, don't lose that intensity, to use the Michael Irvin phrase.
And I hope that if this team does win, people give this man his props because he's had this Sean Payton ghost looming over him.
But look at this week. Look at this Monday night in that respect. Look at Monday night. Hey, Dak, Dalton Schultz, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb. Kellen Moore was dialing out, wasn't he? Hey, Micah Parsons and Van Der Esch and the rest of those guys. Yeah. Boy, Dan Quinn's going to get a job somewhere, isn't he?
Who's someone's name hadn't been written.
Mike McCarthy. It's just
Jerry Jones.
That guy. That guy. All we're talking about was his kind of dance moves that he said was between breakdancing and a gritty. And so I got to go with him. But Doug Peterson right behind him and Kyle right behind Pete Peterson. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.